Yeah, I lost about a day and a half or two, almost 2 or 3 days where I tried to do some things at home, but I should have been here working, where I would have liked to have been here working, but I just physically couldn't do it. So that's setting some things back a little, but it'll come through.
Illness can't be helped, but top that off with the fact that you and your life story are the main focus of your documentary, and this is what Caitlin Dean was set to do. She is a second-year journalism student at NBCC Woodstock campus and is working on her very first documentary. When searching for an idea for her doc, someone mentioned that she should do something that's close to her. She chose to do an interactive style documentary, which puts the filmmaker on the screen as well as the interviewees. Ever since a young age, Caitlin says she has struggled with her weight, and that's what her documentary is about. She said in middle school and high school she was bullied, and like most kids, wasn't sure who to turn to. So Caitlin turned to food.
I think really for my documentary, it is more been emotionally preparing to do it than the actual work, because it's my own story, and I think it's hardest to come to terms with what the subject matter is and why I'm doing it and how easy/hard it's going to be to get done. The actual content of it, and it doesn't require as much research as really any of the news stories that I've done this term, or last term I should say, but the actual dealing with my own emotional baggage, for lack of a better term, is going to be, I'm still not sure if I can do it or not.
A documentary can be as simple or as complex as you make it. There are 3 basic steps. Pre-production, which is the planning and preparation. Production, the actual taping of the shots and interviews. And post-production, watching the footage and editing it on the screen. One of the first and most important things to do in pre-production is deciding on a subject and the style. Caitlin planned to be the main voice in her Michael Moore-style documentary.
The bulk of it will be myself, which sounds kind of cocky, but it really isn't. Cocky doc. And my mom and our relationship, because she's struggled with weight her whole life and has lost weight and kept it off for about 8 years and is now studying to be a nutritionist. So it's a very complex mother-daughter relationship. It's a wonderful mother-daughter relationship in most cases. It's just the constant, not constant, I shouldn't say that, but it's something that's always hanging over us. It's my weight / her own battle with her own struggles. It's something that it's a family issue, and it was the same with her and her mother, and it's the same with her and I, and it's like every time my mom and I are in any length of conversation, topic always reverts to that. I mean, my mom and I fought about 2 things her entire life, and it's the state of my bedroom, which has always been messy, and how much I eat, which is too much.
After arranging her interviews at home, Caitlin sat down and did some storyboarding, which is another part of pre-production. She made plans about questions that would be answered by her interviewees. When you plan on making a doc about yourself and you live away from your hometown, chances are you have to travel home to get footage. In her case, she traveled 3 hours from Woodstock to her parents' home on Darlings Island, where she had a few interviews lined up. Her first interview was an individual interview with her mom. She set up the camera and lights and asked her mother to sit in the living room. This was the first time her mother, Christine, had been interviewed for a documentary.
Oh, it was okay. At first it's a little nerve-wracking when you're getting all mic'd and all that, but you kind of forget that, depending on the topic, I suppose, but in my case I forgot what I was being.
After the initial sit-down interview with her mom, Caitlin decided to change locations. Thankfully, she had some helping hands, so she didn't have to unhook all the equipment to move it.
If we all walk together at the same time, like make a train, and you just pick up that big mess of wires, we'll be okay.
To make her interactive style documentary work, it was her turn to be on camera too. Caitlin sat with her mother, and they had a conversation about her growing up and her mother's life too. After the interview, she had a friend take some close-up shots and move around the room because the camera was only set up on a tripod for the entire interview.
If I were to do it again, I would have had somebody, my DP, move the camera around while we were talking, like back and forth between the interview shots and things, just because I think there could have been more there. But I also think it's okay the way it was. Like, it's kind of almost like fly on the wall. So we'll see how it looks on the on the screen. There may be another Darlings Island trip in the future. Hope not, though. God.
On her way out of town, Caitlin and her crew stopped to get a bit of footage of the outside of her high school. Even the bitter cold couldn't stop her from getting her shot. However, busy and conflicting schedules can make for plan changes.
I had a one interview issue when I was home in Darlings Island, and it was kind of a one-shot deal. And one of my best friends, who's a dietitian, which would have been a pretty fantastic interview to have, she canceled on me. But I think I made out all right because I replaced her with Andrea, the counselor, and I have a lot of friends who have been interviewed, so it should be all right. But yeah, that was a setback at the time.
Once she was back at school, she downloaded the footage from the interviews and reviewed what she had and what she would need to complete her documentary. She started to clip the footage, picking out the most important parts, the ones that would be used in the finished product. Caitlin already had the plans in her head about what she wanted to convey on the screen, so she would have to pick out the perfect clips and figure out the right order for everything to make it happen. While editing the clips, she played with colors, all to make the audience feel a certain way. With her finished doc, she hopes the viewers can identify with what she has been through.
I've quite enjoyed the experience. It's been, to be completely honest, and as cheesy as this sounds, it's pretty much changed my life and the way focusing this much on myself has been kind of weird at times and kind of strange to go up to somebody who you've been friends with for only 6 or 7 months and be like, so what did you think of me when you first met me? And have them tell you that you were annoying. It's kind of tough to hear, but neat at the same time. And really, I've become very self-aware, and I'm really understanding myself more than I ever did. And I think it's going to, I was saying this to Paul the other day, I don't really care anymore how well marks-wise I do on the documentary because it's already changed my life.